with the fury of hell, just barely blowing up before my mom called me to supper. I didn't have time. And certainly not in my adult life. I was too busy to indulge myself like that. When I got up in the morning, I didn't pop in the shower and pull down the water pick shower massage and blast a stream of hot pulsating water on the underside of my throbbing unit until I experienced a crashing intense orgasm. I didn't dilly-dally like that. I didn't have time. And certainly not at work. I had a lot to contend with. I didn't keep a bottle of Vaseline intensive care lotion in my bottom desk drawer. I was director of personnel in a large corporation. I didn't have time in the middle of an interview while I was looking over someone's resume to secretly lubricate myself beneath my desk and start gently, quietly stimulating myself with long, slow strokes, all the while maintaining a stoic expression, not even flinching, while under my desk, my body raged with convulsions. I didn't have time! And certainly not on the freeways. I drove in a hurry. I drove in the fast lane. I didn't have time to let my thoughts wander and unzip my pants while I spit on the other, jockeying the steering wheel with my knee. I couldn't weave through traffic like a man possessed, bearing down on the gas pedal with my fist beat maniacally at a fever pitch, and finally I blacked out, setting myself in a staggering number of commuters toward death. I didn't have time! It's interesting, but it just doesn't work. For me. I suppose you expect me to say something interesting. Life gets complicated. All that lying and cheating and stealing and killing. I suppose I wasn't cut out for physical existence. What is life, after all, but one long, meaningless, desperate, fruitless search for love? Of course, there is no love anymore. Only infatuation, and even that doesn't last longer than a night. How can there be love in a world without permanence? When I was a boy, I thought that life was a world without end bargain. By the time he was 50, my great-grandfather had built a lumber, furniture, and paper empire. Of course, there are no empires anymore. Only mergers and acquisitions. But long before I was born, the catheter name had become synonymous with buffalo. Indeed, it seemed there was no end to the catheters. But that end came. The unions sent us wage hikes. Uncle Sam sent us antitrust suits. And the Canadians sent us their acid rain. Finally, the catheters of buffalo snapped.
This is nice. Oh yeah, this is real nice. Well, I'd forgotten how nice physical pleasure can be. Well, I guess eternal bliss will do that to you. This body will do just fine. These eyes, too. Hey, how you doing? Where'd you come from?
Don't answer. I know it's written all over you.
Who you are, what you are, why you are. Hell, we decide these things before we're born. Like me. I chose my body, chose my endowments, chose my desires. I was born for two things: show business and sex. Even on the playground, you could see I was destined for porno stardom.
I was a happy child. Of course, nothing could have prepared me for the wretched world which awaited me without the walls of Catherwood. Certainly not the beloved Disney movies Nanny took me to. Of course, there are no movies anymore. Only shoot-em-ups and snuff films. Whatever happened to movies with well-behaved English children? Children like Jane and Michael Banks. Children with hopes and dreams and wide eyes. Eyes awed by the wonder and mystery of childhood. Of course, there is no childhood anymore. Only an aborted period of orientation before the inevitable degeneration of adulthood sets in. But those movies inspired me. Indeed, when Auntie Elizabeth asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up, Wedgwood?" I answered, "I want to be English." Of course, there are no English anymore. Only transatlantic trumps like those Collins sisters.
I saw my film career as an opportunity to share my gifts with the largest possible audience. I mean, if I left the world one moment of ecstasy on celluloid, I made a contribution. And hell, I left a whole slew of moments. I left more copious moments of ecstasy than Old Faithful. Just check out a Butch Street retrospective sometime. I couldn't have been happier getting paid to do what came naturally. That's right up there in my first film. To be young, gifted, and hung. Yeah, you can see from the expression on my face that I liked what I was doing. And as a young performer, I was always willing to go the whole 9 inches. You can see that in Mildred Pierce. But something happened to me as I matured. I realized that I had a responsibility to my potential. I mean, if I was going to hone my craft, it was going to have to be in a repertoire situation. And that's why I formed the Hardcore Players. I mean, what was I
to do in Buffalo after the fall of the House of Catheter? Go up on the roof and visualize world peace? So I went to California and took a position managing the banquet room of the Reseda Holiday Inn. Of course, there are no inns anymore. Only franchised flop houses. But there in California I met someone who understood me. Her hair was the color of wheat, her eyes of cornflowers, and her name was
Tanya, Tammy, Tina. Well, I love one person. I never could understand that. I loved them all. Each actress for her own special gifts. Like Tina was really good with the oral stuff. And Tammy was a wonder with props. And nobody could get into a Bonder scene like Tanya. And hell, I gave her that. I mean, when she came to me, she was a broken woman. She said to me, "Help me, catfish." And Butch Street was not my real name. But I thought she had quality. And I worked with her. By the time I was through, she was an absolutely demonic dominatrix. And one of our top grossing stars. So, her work was unforgettable and the subject was hoses. No, these girls' lives were never the same after working with me.
So, Clarissa and I were to be wed. Of course, there are no weddings anymore. Only vulgar ploys of gift-getting, vainly veneered as weddings. And Clarissa wasn't a virgin. But Clarissa was going to take the catheter name. And together we were going to carry on the line. Alas, it wasn't to be. How could I have allowed pork dim sum hors d'oeuvres at the Glickman bat mitzvah? And whatever possessed me to sample one? No, the temporal was not my realm. Still, trichinosis seems such an unsuitable end for a catheter.
I guess you could say I was an artist. My body was my medium. I painted with it. I sculpted with it. I danced with it. Did I make music with it? You know it. Then I know some people said that I pushed it beyond the limits, and I know Tammy felt bad because she was the one who hooked me up to that 1200-volt vacuum jack. Hell, how was she supposed to know it had a short in it? Besides, if you see her, tell her, it felt good. Basically, what people wanted was cheap thrills. Oh, that's what I gave them. Darling, you must always give of yourself with total generosity of spirit. What is America? A landscape of infinite possibilities. A landscape, no, the landscape, where Hester Prynne could live in a cabin on Walden Pond. And in that cabin, on that pond, Hester sewed a scarlet letter A and affixed it to her breast. That A was for artist. That A was for American. That A covered the telltale heart of Edgar Allan Poe, which beat in the body electric of Emily Dickinson, who went upstairs and put on a white dress and was Moby Dick. Now Walden Pond has been eclipsed by the television screen. And while Walden told us we were complete, the television tells us we lack good bread, perfect bodies, decaffeinated coffee. This larceny of spirit has left a legacy of merchandise. And America, as if unconvinced of the phenomenon of her own existence, sought new horizons westward, until it seemed her inexhaustible appetite for expansion had exhausted her landscape. But there, on the western precipice, she built a launching pad of the imagination, a launching pad for the projection of the self on the new frontiers, Hollywood. And Hollywood has given America a context for her future, a new manifest destiny. Trance channeling.
Honey, there's a lot of things that you don't know. And there's things that you don't gonna know. But some things you do know, honey. And the things you know, you know you know. And what you know, you always know. So why carry on this charade pretending to know something you don't?
I had a farm in Africa. I ride my projectile over the perfect wave, totally stoked. I'm sorry if I bored you with that poem. I just had to share with you what it was like when I was in the water surrounded by the energy of the waves. That's why I wrote poetry. I just had to show the world what surfing was like. A lot of people didn't think that was productive, like all these career counselors I had in high school, you know? Like, they wanted to sit me down in front of some kind of computer terminal. Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't sit still that long. I had the metabolism of a rock star. And then, like, my parents kept threatening to take my board away from me, but I had this experience that decided everything for me. I was at this seance to bring back Jim Morrison. But, like, nothing happened and everybody figured the rumors were true, that he wasn't dead after all. But I heard this voice, and it was telling me to ride life like a wave. And the first thing I did was, I changed my name to Bud Beach. Beach? Obviously, because it's the most awesome place, and Bud, because you can drink it, or you can smoke it. That was my first experience with the power of words. That was when I realized that I was a soul surfer. You don't surf a 12-foot tube because it's going to take you somewhere. You do it for the experience. You do it for that surge and rush of power. I mean, the first time I felt that, I almost threw up. It was great. Crouching into a bottom turn, my board shudders, my fins hum. An instant, I gasp for breath. Reflected in the translucent curl of water. My face? Oh, man! Fresh! I want to take you with me to those peak experiences. I want you inside a 20-foot tube with me where you're just carving and you can practically see the fibers that connect everything in the universe. There's a lot of lonely surfers in the world. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, here we are, surrounded by all this beautiful surf, just for an instant, together on our way, spinning through the heavens. You can be a rad dude, man. You can rip it up. It doesn't matter if it's a total dream session or you get dogged. Go with the flow of your board. Don't fight it. Love the ocean. Be a surfer. Santa Ana's howling, north swells pumping, sand shifting, spray billowing from the cascading of crystal and winter waves, sizzle, rattle, roll, blasting, blazing, bitchin' killer, back-to-back swells, definite inspiration, pure enjoyment, insane, stoked. And then, silence, stripped of the fragile illusion of my greatness. A wall of water closes over me, putting me to rest, tucked in by my mother, nature.
Oh, I see. It must be very confining for you to have to exist in a body, to have your soul constricted within the dimensions of flesh. That must put a lot of pressure on you. Pressure you want to release. Oh, yeah. Release that pressure. Well, I imagine the only way you can really escape that body is to really experience that body. Merge that body with another body, yeah. Well, let's take this crowd on a trip through his body. He's never gonna forget.
I see that you have had a visitation. This is most unusual. I'm feeling inordinately tired and used somehow. But at the same time, strangely satisfied. And although I don't smoke, I have a craving for a cigarette. I will simply verify that the experiment has been quantified for the Department of Parapsychological Studies. Groß und braun und jung und reizend, Gott und Spaß, niemand geht spazieren und wenn sie pausiert, sagen alle, wenn sie geht, shit like a samba, das klingt so cool und schwankt so leise, dass wenn sie pausiert, sagen alle, but I watch her so sadly. Sie weiß nicht, dass ich sie liebe. Sie kann ja doch mein Herz haben. Sie geht jeden Tag zu dem Meer. Sie sieht geradeaus nicht zu Meer. Groß und braun und jung und reizend. A girl from Ipanema goes a walking high, and when she passes, I smile. Sie sieht es nie. Nein, sie sieht es nie. Nein, sie sieht es nie. I hope this information has been of some value to you. Good night.